Welcome to this comprehensive guide on internationalization. Commonly called i18n internationalization, is the process of designing and building products that can serve users across different languages, cultures, and regions without requiring code modifications for each new market. This is a critical capability for any product aiming for global reach. Throughout this series, we'll explore both the technical foundations and strategic considerations needed to successfully expand your product to international audiences. It's important to understand the distinction between i18n and localization, often abbreviated as L10n. i18n is the engineering foundation. It's the architecture and infrastructure you build into your product to support multiple languages. Think of it as preparing your house to accommodate guests from different countries. Localization, on the other hand, is the cultural adaptation layer. It's the actual process of translating content, adapting designs, and customizing your product for specific markets. i18n is a one-time technical setup, while localization is an ongoing effort per market. Let's dive into the technical foundations. First, character and text encoding. All modern systems use Unicode, a universal character set that represents every character in every language. UTF-8 is the standard encoding format. It's efficient, widely supported, and handles all languages uniformly using variable length encoding. Second, locale and language data. Locales are identified by language and region combinations, like N_US for English in the United States or FR_FR for French in France. The Common Locale Data Registry, or CLDR, defines formatting rules and cultural preferences for each locale. Finally, text rendering involves handling bidirectional text for languages like Arabic and Hebrew, shaping complex scripts like Devanagari, and managing font fallback mechanisms when characters aren't available in the primary font. Different locales format information in dramatically different ways. Date and time formatting varies significantly. The United States uses month/day/year with 12-hour time, while Germany uses day-month-year with 24-hour time, and Japan uses the Japanese calendar format with year-month-day. Currency and numbers are equally diverse. The US displays 1,234.56 dollars, Germany shows 1,234.56 euros, and Japan uses the yen symbol without decimals. Measurements differ too. The US uses feet and inches and pounds, while most other countries use the metric system with centimeters, kilograms, and meters. Text and sorting involves locale-aware collation rules that determine how strings are compared and sorted, including sensitivity to accents, case, and character ordering in different languages. Now let's explore how to implement i18n in your application. Translation strings use a key-value pair system where each piece of content gets a unique identifier. For example, the key hello_user might map to hello, open brace name, close brace in English, and hola, open brace name, close brace in Spanish. These strings support parameterization for dynamic content and plural handling rules for different languages. Message catalogs organize these strings into files, typically JSON, YAML, or XML format organized by language. These can be bundled with your application or lazy-loaded as needed. At runtime, you use functions like getString with a key and locale to retrieve the appropriate translation. The system includes fallback chain logic that moves to a parent language if a specific translation is missing. Finally, separation of concerns means your UI logic remains independent from translation strings. Strings live in separate files, not hard-coded in your components, making maintenance and updates straightforward. Your database layer requires careful planning for multilingual content. Schema design must use UTF-8 charset throughout, with collation rules specified per column. You'll typically have language code fields and separate translation tables that join with your main content. Unicode support includes proper database collations, full text indexing that respects language rules, and handling of sorting behavior, accent sensitivity, and even emoji support. Performance considerations involve query optimization for multilingual content, caching translated content to reduce database hits, strategic indexing, and potentially using a CDN for serving translation catalogs. The key is balancing storage overhead with query performance while maintaining data integrity across all languages. Right-to-left languages like Arabic, Hebrew, and Urdu present unique technical challenges. Bidirectional text means some content flows right to left, while numbers and embedded left-to-right text must still display correctly. The Unicode bidirectional algorithm handles this complexity automatically. UI mirroring involves flipping your layout direction for RTL languages. Buttons and navigation change positions, text alignment reverses, and icons are repositioned. Modern CSS logical properties make this easier by using start and end instead of left and right. Text rendering in complex scripts requires shaping, adjusting character forms and positioning based on context. Ligatures combine multiple characters into single glyphs. Diacritical marks must be positioned correctly above or below characters, and font fallback chains ensure every character displays even when not in your primary font. Translation alone isn't enough for true localization. Visual and design elements vary culturally. Red symbolizes luck in China, but danger in Western contexts, while white represents purity in the West, but mourning in many Asian cultures. Imagery and iconography must be reviewed for cultural sensitivity. Tone and voice differs significantly across cultures. Japanese communication tends toward formality and indirectness, while American communication is typically casual and direct. Humor doesn't translate, and idioms are useless outside their origin culture. Payment and commerce systems vary by region. India relies on UPI and cash payments, while Europe uses SEP transfers and cards. Tax calculations and shipping regulations differ by country. Legal and compliance requirements are critical. The EU's GDPR and California's CCPA have different privacy requirements. Age verification processes vary, and some content may be restricted in specific regions. Expanding globally requires strategic prioritization. Selection criteria for choosing markets include total addressable market size and growth potential, customer acquisition cost per region, revenue opportunity and user willingness to pay, competitive landscape analysis, number of language speakers, internet penetration rates, and device usage patterns. A phased rollout approach is most effective. Start with an MVP supporting 1 to 3 high-value languages, then grow to 5 to 10 key markets, scale to 50 or more languages, and maintain continuous updates. Key metrics for decision-making include TAM, your total addressable market, CAC or customer acquisition cost, LTV or lifetime value per user, and expected ROI on your i18n investment. Typically, you should expect a 6 to 18-month payback period on i18n investments. Planning your i18n initiative requires realistic timelines and proper team composition. Implementation timeline typically involves 4 to 8 weeks for architecture setup, 6 to 12 weeks to support your initial 3 languages with testing and QA taking 4 to 6 weeks, and 3 to 6 months to scale to 10 or more languages, with ongoing maintenance continuing indefinitely. Required team roles include engineers for architecture and implementation, professional translators, QA specialists trained in language testing, designers familiar with RTL and layout adaptation, product managers for market prioritization, and localization specialists for cultural adaptation. Budget considerations include engineering effort as your largest initial cost, recurring translation costs per new language, subscription-based tools and platforms, and essential testing and QA expenses. Most organizations see a 6 to 18-month payback period on their i18n investment. Several tools simplify i18n implementation and management. Translation management platforms like Crowdin, Phrase, Localize, Transifex, and Pontoon provide collaborative translation interfaces with translation memory, workflow management, quality assurance checks, and API access. Developer libraries including i18n Next for JavaScript, React i18n Next for React applications, the native Intel API available in browsers, getExt for multi-language support, and ICU for Unicode standards provide the runtime functionality needed in your application. These libraries handle translation retrieval, parameter interpolation, pluralization logic, and locale detection. Continuous integration and continuous deployment workflow automates the process. You extract strings from your code automatically, push them to your translation management system. Translators work in the TMS interface. You pull translations back to your repository, build artifacts containing all language variants, and deploy to appropriate servers and regional content delivery networks. Learning from others' experiences helps you avoid costly mistakes. Common mistakes include hard-coding strings directly in code instead of using external files, ignoring right-to-left languages until late in development, poor character encoding setup from the start, inadequate testing in non-English languages, assuming all languages fit in the same space as English, and neglecting cultural nuances beyond simple translation. Scaling challenges emerge as you grow. Managing 50 or more language variants becomes complex, maintaining consistent translation quality across teams, losing context when translating isolated strings, managing version control and rollback across languages, resource bottlenecks in translation workflows, and cost explosion as you exceed 20 languages. Best practices for success include planning i18n from day one rather than retrofitting later, investing in solid architecture first before expanding language support, partnering with native speakers early in the process, automating translation workflows to reduce manual effort, testing on actual devices and operating systems in each target locale, and continuously monitoring translation quality metrics to maintain standards.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.